issues. There we go.
Yeah.
That time. All right. So looks like we're live now. Says I'm live. So hopefully that's all good.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So let me share my screen with you. All right. So you can read that quote is big enough. This is a quote from Corinthians, translated into alternative language. So
yeah. But whenever anyone turns to perfect love, the veil is taken away. Now this perfect love is pure formless awareness. And where pure formless awareness of perfect love is, there is freedom. And we who with unveiled faces all reflect the pure formless awareness of perfect love's magnificence are being transformed into likeness and ever-increasing glory, which comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love.
yeah. So that was from Corinthians 2, second letter written by the Apostle Paul to a small Christian community in the city of Corinth in ancient Greece. Just so you know where that came from. So there's the original. If you want to read that, see how different that reads.
But whenever anyone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we, who with unveiled faces all reflect the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his likeness with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. Yeah, it's a little bit too... The other's better.
Very different, isn't it? You read it like that, and you kind of Lord.
Yeah,
that's never that language never worked for me.
No.
So
take it seriously.
Read that again and just see the difference.
But whenever anyone turns to perfect love, the veil is taken away. Now this perfect love is pure formless awareness. And where pure formless awareness of perfect love is, there is freedom. And we who with unveiled faces all reflect the pure formless awareness of perfect love's magnificence are being transformed into its likeness and ever increasing glory, which comes from pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it just helps you to really get to the true meaning. You know, when he says the Lord, it's referring to something, you know, way bigger than some super being that's your Lord or Master. It's referring to the state of awareness, really. So the language can help you to actually experience the state of mind that it's pointing to. I think that often there's a disconnect. You read this, what he's really talking about is an expanded state of awareness, higher awareness, an enlightened state. But the language of, you know, the Lord, Spirit, and so on is kind of blocks that for most people. So I hope you find that the translated version works. And
it's better, definitely.
Yeah. So maybe another project once we finish the course is to actually translate the entire Bible. Certainly the New Testament. Maybe could do the Old Testament.
I've never read it. I've never read
the Old Testament. Yeah, well, the New Testament, you know, there's some good stuff in it. Right. But because it is based on Yeshua's teachings, so a lot of those ideas are true, but the language then just kind of doesn't quite do justice to it. So New Testament translated into alternative language could be another project afterwards. So we'll see, because I think the translation just unlocks it for people. Okay, so that leads us quite nicely into today's lesson. Start the recording. So this is lesson 278 we're on. Let's just dive in there. 278. How much time do we have here? Not much. So let's skip the what is the Christ section. I've read that a couple of times before. Go straight into the lesson. So if you can read that in the original and the alternative.
If I am bound, my Father is not free. If I am bound, my source is not free.
So what's he saying there really? If I'm limited or bound, then my source can't be free. I'm really saying my source is limited, because my source and I are one. It must be so.
Yeah.
And so another way of thinking about it, saying, well, really, what I'm saying, if I'm not free, is that my source is limited. Is that likely if it's completely infinite, eternal, unlimited awareness? No. Okay, so I'm wrong then. See, so all of these, the way he phrases it, is just another way of helping us to undo our belief in the ego's system. Okay.
Yeah.
So read the first paragraph.
In the alternative, yeah. If I accept that I am a prisoner within a body, in a world which all things that seem to live appear to die, then my source is prisoner with me. And this I do believe when I maintain I must obey the laws the world obeys by believing in the frailties and the sins. Frailties and the sins.
Frailties.
Which frailties? Sorry?
Frailties, yeah.
Frailties.
It's frailty is a weakness by believing in
yes.
Maybe the weakness might be, is that easier?
Right.
By believing the weakness and the sins.
Yeah. Which I must then perceive are real and cannot be escaped. If I am bound in any way, I do not know my source or myself, and I am lost to all reality. For truth is what is bound is not a part of truth.
For truth is free, for truth is free, and what is bound is not a part of truth. So what's he saying in that one?
Well, while we're in the body of the world, it's a prisoner. And where everything appears to live, also appears to die. So if we obey the laws of the world by believing in its weakness and sins, then we're not going to be able to escape. We're bound, and we don't know our source and our true self. So we're lost in this reality, because really truth is free.
Yeah. I'm bound in any way. Then I've lost the plot, basically. I've lost the awareness that there is, an infinite, unlimited, limitless awareness, because my awareness has now become limited. And the truth is unlimited, it's free, and what is bound is not a part of truth. So I must be identifying with what is false. In the recognition of its falsity, then there's a freedom, there's a release. Okay, well, that's just That's just a false idea. What is it but an idea in the end? We might experience it as a strong idea, as strong emotion, but in the end, it's just a product of our own thoughts and inner processes. If we can see that, then freedom is there for us. Yeah, but actually, none of that's true. I can just drop that and go into the state of true awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay, so any other thoughts on that one?
That's good, thanks.
Okay, and just the second one, which is the prayer part of the lesson.
My source, I ask for nothing but the truth. I have had my foolish thoughts about myself and my creation, and have brought a dream of fear into my mind. Today I will not choose to dream. I choose the way to you instead of madness and fear, for truth is safe and only love is certain. That's a nice prayer.
I ask for nothing but the truth.
Our foolish thoughts.
About myself and my
all makes sense, doesn't it?
And my maybe true nature, or my being, maybe of myself and my true my true nature. I think that might be. And many foolish thoughts about myself and my true nature. And it brought a dream of fear into my mind. I've dreamed of fear, have invited, maybe brought invited a dream of fear into my mind. So whenever we have an anxious, fearful thought, we invite this fearful dream, this nightmare, really, to be our reality. But he's saying, this is just foolish thoughts, and you just got caught up in them. Today I will not choose to dream. I choose the way to you instead of madness and fear. Truth is safe and only love is certain. Yeah. And where else are you going to find safety in this world? That's the learning, isn't it? You have to learn that nothing here will make you safe, because everything here is temporary. Everything is changing all the time. So how can you rely on that? It should be self-evident that you can't, but that is, what most human beings haven't learned yet. That's what we have to learn. You can't rely on the temporary, on the ephemeral. You have to turn to love, which is within you, that never changes. Only that is certain. And then you can rest in certainty, even in a world that is so uncertain, because your certainty, your own happiness and peace and safety is not coming from the outside world. It's based on your inner state, which is not related to anything that's happening in the world. All right. So, any other thoughts on the lesson? It's a nice, just another. I mean, I'm really enjoying these shorter lessons, actually. It's the second part of the workbook. I mean,
that's very nice.
They're both impactful. You need, maybe he knows very you need much. In the first one, which is longer. You have more detailed lessons, but these are just very short pointers. These are like sutra form, and they point you to the the acceptance. Really,
Mm.
it's not so intellectual anymore. You see, it's just saying, well, just accept this, accept it, and allow yourself to enter into the state of peace that that acceptance will bring you.
Yeah.
And the short form and then the prayer is designed to help you access that state. So it's designed very much as a prayer or meditation. Prayer and meditation are really the same thing at the highest level. The meditation, the true prayer is, as he says, for forgiveness. Okay, so that's just letting go. And meditation is designed to help you let go of whatever is blocking your awareness and just enter into a deeper awareness. So they're really the same thing at the highest level. All right. So speaking of meditation and prayer, should we do a 20-minute meditation, and then that'll give us just over an hour to do the text.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Okay. So okay, doesn't look like I can end this now. Well, it'll just have to be a longer recording, I guess. Okay. So just stop this. All right. So just making yourself comfortable alone, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart. Go back straight, cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And as usual, take a nice deep breath in to start the process. Full maximal inhale. Notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. You can squeeze your sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to lock the energy in. It's called the root lock in yoga. So lock that, squeeze the energy in, draw it up your spine. Into your heart center. Put one hand on your heart to connect with your heart space. And draw the energy up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. You're going to scan your mind. Notice any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on. Particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting in any way. Just breathe into that. Any bondage, limitations, lack, thoughts, emotion. Notice any of that, and just as you breathe in, remind yourself that if I'm bound, then my source isn't free. So if I believe in these limitations and these lacks, then I'm not free, and I'm saying my source isn't free. Is that really likely? If your source is really infinite and eternal and completely limitless, then how can you place limits on it? So evidently this must be false. So you're just going to breathe in again. Breathe in this expansive, limitless awareness that you're accessing. The lesson's helping you to access within you. Now listen to these words, and you're going to repeat the words aloud after me. When I pause, you're going to exhale through your nose and repeat the words. So if I accept that I'm a prisoner within a body, in a world in which all things seem to live, appear to die. Repeat those words. I accept that I'm a prisoner within a body in a world in which all things that seem to live appear to die. Then my source is a prisoner with me. And exhales, you speak that. And then my source is a prisoner with me. So just let go of that belief. Drop it into the nothingness that it really is. Either ridiculous nature of it. How can you limit what is infinite and limitless by definition? But this I do believe, and I maintain I must obey the laws the world obeys. Repeat those words. This I do believe, when I maintain I must obey the laws the world obeys. Breathing in again, by believing in its weakness and sins, which I must then perceive are real and cannot be escaped. If I am bound in any way, breathing in, I do not know my source or myself. And I am lost to all reality. Breathe in again, and breathe in the freedom that the truth offers you, and say, for truth is free. What is bound is not a part of truth. So truth is limitless awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is limitless. So it cannot be bound. It is, by definition, completely free. It's free, formless awareness with no limitations, no blocks. Truth is free, and what is bound is not a part of truth. Exhale on the truth of that. And just sink into that. And breathing in again. Just inviting this source energy, this powerful, pure formless awareness of perfect love to infuse every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being with its beneficent presence. Say, my source. I ask for nothing but the truth. Breathing in again. I had many foolish thoughts about myself and my true nature. Repeat that as you exhale. Acknowledge that it's many foolish thoughts, any fearful thought, any aggressive, attacking thought, it's all foolish. Because your true nature is perfect peace and love. And I have invited a dream of fear into my mind. And many foolish thoughts about myself and my true nature. And I have invited a dream of fear into my mind. Today I will not choose to dream. Choose the way to you instead of madness and fear. For truth is safe, and only love is certain. Truth is safe, and only love is certain. And then you just sink inwards to the truth. Truth is safe, and only love is certain. And experience that safety, certainty within you, There's this inner kingdom, as Yeshua called the kingdom of heaven within, just a state of pure formless awareness of perfect love, as we call it in alternative language. And that offers you perfect safety, perfect love, perfect security always. And just sink into that gratefully, accept the peace, the happiness, the security, safety that's given you in this sacred state of awareness. And it's right there, right here, right now, in your awareness. So just allow yourself to experience that sacred state of awareness. A minute or two of deep silence. Just observe your breath. So to help you to let go of mind wandering, just focus your attention on the breath. Notice the subtle flow of the breath flowing into the nostrils and then out of the nostrils. Sinking inwards and going deeper and deeper with each breath into the still calm, peaceful, surrendered state of mind that is the truth in you, the very essence of you, your true self, your true nature, your source. It's all language points to the same fundamental state of awareness, which can only be truly known when you experience it. So give yourself the opportunity to experience it fully, embrace it for the next couple of minutes of deep, connected silence. So if any thoughts come in, seemingly disturb your peace, just notice those and be willing to let them go. Breathe into them. As you breathing in this deep awareness, truth, perfect love, pure formless awareness, perfect love. And whenever you bring that in, to any apparent limitation, it simply dissolves. So if I am bound, my source is not free. So it's not possible. Therefore, I can let this go and then just choose to let it go. Use your breath to help you. Exhale, blow it out. Let go of the thought, the feeling, the emotion, the energy in your body. It's just an unhelpful energy, stuck energy in your body. Blow it out. Pull the lower stomach into your spine. Expel the last remaining air out and just rest in this deep peace and stillness. For a few moments. And just sink in for another couple of minutes. Deep silence into this beautiful state of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Allow yourself to experience that fully for another minute or two. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just breathe, relax, and enjoy the deep peace that this offers you. Next 2 minutes of deep silence. Gently coming back from this deep connected state into awareness of the body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in. And you notice the stomach rise again and the chest rise and the subtle flow of air in through your nostrils. And you pause at the top of the inhale, and again you scan your mind and just observe your thoughts and your emotions and any related body sensations. Just breathe into those. Remind yourself that if there's anything untoward there, anything still unpleasant or limited, if I am bound, then what I'm really saying is my source isn't free. Is that really likely? Or is that just a false idea? So blow it out, let it go. Use your breath to help you. You exhale, you release. It's going, gone. Imagine it's being blown away like a dark cloud or a black smoke. It's leaving you. Lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out and just rest in this deep peace and stillness for a few minutes. Of deep silence. So on the count of two, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment, just noticing all these things from this is very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. State of mind without illusions, state of mind in which only the truth is true. And anchor that state in, set the intention to stay here in this sacred state for the rest of the session, in the afternoon and evening, on into your weekend. So it is said and so it is done. And now on the count of three, just open your eyes. So just take a moment to look around the room in this very connected state. Notice whatever happens to cross your eyes. And notice the peace that you experience in the meditation is still very much there. It hasn't really gone anywhere. It's still there. So connect with it and close your eyes. Notice it's still there. Open your eyes, look at something else. Notice the same state of awareness, the same peace, no matter what you look at. Is there? That's really the point of this little mind training exercise at the end of the meditations, so that you start understanding experientially that this awareness is always there. It's never gone away. It's always with you. As one of the early course lessons says, God goes with you wherever you go, because God is in your mind. So translated, this awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love is with you always, because it's in your own mind, always accessible and available if you simply allow it. You don't block it out, which is what we, unfortunately, most of us are in the habit of doing, blocking it with other thoughts and emotions. So I hope the meditations helped you to deeply connect with peace and experience what the lesson pointed to. That brings us to the end of it and the first part of the session. So let's jump in now to our reading for today from Manual for Teachers. So this is section 4, I think. It's section 4. No, I got that wrong. So what are the characteristics of God's teachers? Section 4, Manual for Teachers. And the first one is trust. So we're going to do the intro, which is a couple of paragraphs, and then talk about the development of trust, which we've done before. But yeah, it's really the course's take on what the spiritual journey is. So it's one of the most important passages in the whole course. Okay, so Elaine, you there? Okay, you there?
Oh, I'm here. Yes, I was obviously sorry, I keep having a little bit of a doze. Oh, dear me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going in.
So yeah, this one is characteristics of God's teachers, section 4.
Yeah.
Characteristics of perfect love's teachers. Maybe we'll make it. I think we've looked at this before, but it's the course's take on the spiritual journey.
Yeah.
So it's quite a useful one to understand how this process unfolds, and he calls it the development of trust. That's how he frames the spiritual journey of awakening, because we have to develop more and more trust in our source, in this higher power that is unseen, and remove our trust from the false idols of the world, everything in form that the ego's invented to really distract us from the truth. All right, so the surface trays of I think just read this. We've got an hour, so read it just in the alternative. I've done translation on it already, so it shouldn't be very much to change.
Okay. The surface traits of perfect love's teachers are not at all alike. They do not look alike to the body's eyes. They come from vastly different backgrounds. Their experiences of the world vary greatly, and their superficial personalities are quite distinct. Nor at the beginning stages of their functioning as teachers of perfect love have they as yet acquired the deeper characteristics that will establish them as what they are. Pure formless awareness of perfect love gives special gifts to its teachers because they have a special role in its plan for advancement. Their specialness is, of course, only temporary, set in time as a means of leading out of time. These special gifts, born in the wholly aware relationship to which the teaching-learning situation is geared, become characteristic of all teachers of perfect love who have advanced in their own learning. In this respect, they are all alike.
Okay, all the same. So what's he saying there? Summary.
Well, on the surface, the teachers of perfect love don't look alike at all. When you're looking through the body's eyes, they come from varying backgrounds and experiences of the world. But these are just superficial personalities. And at the beginning stages of the functioning of teachers of perfect love, they have as yet acquired the deeper characteristics that will establish them as they go on. But pure formless awareness gives special gifts to its teachers because they've got a plan for advancement.
Yeah.
But of course, this is only temporary. But eventually, we're all going to be, well, all the teachers are going to be the same when you get rid of the surface, traits.
Yeah, because it's the same awareness. It's just learning to accept that one singular awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And if you look at history of the various enlightened beings in different times, coming from vastly different cultures, religions, spiritual paths, there's a very common experience. They describe their experience as very similar in very similar ways, if they've written it down. So it all ends up in the same place, whichever path you take. Think of it like a mountain. You're climbing a mountain. There's many paths up the mountain, many ways up the mountain, but you get to the top, it's all the same view. There's one peak. So many ways to get there, many different paths, but in the end up in the same peak state of awareness. And then it doesn't really matter what you call it. You could call it the kingdom of heaven, or nirvana, as the Buddha called it, or samadhi, or moksha, or bliss, or higher awareness, or pure formless awareness of perfect love. It doesn't. The words are just pointers to a state that is beyond words. No.
Ineffable.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ineffable means indescribable. How do you really describe pure, infinite, eternal awareness? It's it is indescribable. When I had my brief experience of it, I came out of it and I was like, well, how would I put words to that? Pure formless awareness. That was the best description that I could come up with, which is where it came from, pure formless awareness. And then I've added in perfect love, because pure formless awareness on its own, it gets difficult to work with language, because pure formless awareness is, it doesn't sound great, does it? So then we say perfect loves. But pure formless awareness of perfect love as the complete name of God is a much better pointer to that state than God, in my view. Because the word, what does the word God mean? And the word God is so loaded with preconceived ideas. Your past experience. We've all grown up in most cultures with the word God, and often not particularly positive associations. The formal religions haven't really done justice to it. And the idea of the God as Lord, the Lord who's somehow in charge, is going to punish me if I don't follow his orders, obey. Is that whole kind of command and control mindset, which is not what it is at all. That's not what the true God, pure formless awareness of perfect love is. It's not commanding in any way. It just is. It's your fundamental awareness that you just kind of sink into and merge with and become one with. And it brings you, deep peace and joy and happiness. And then if you're still in this world, it can guide you as to, what to think and say and do, and how to handle the inevitable challenges of this world. Okay, so number 2 is very short. Remember, this is just an introduction. Trust, all differences.
All differences among the extensions of perfect love are temporary. Nevertheless, in time, it can be said that the advanced teachers of perfect love have the following characteristics.
Okay, so not really much to do there. It's just the differences are temporary, and these are the characteristics. So there's actually 10 of them, which we'll go through, day by day. So we'll just break it down rather than try and do all of them at once, because each one actually deserves some time and attention. So I think I do 1 a day or 2 a day. I can't remember. We'll see what unfolds. But for today, we're just doing the 1 because it's quite a long one. It's 6 paragraphs, and it's about interesting. The first characteristic he gives is trust. Trust, and it's probably the hardest thing we struggle with.
Oh
as
yeah,
human beings.
that's a big one. Yeah.
To really trust life, to trust that there is another power, that we are loved, that we are taken care of, all our needs are met. That's
very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, because we apparently get all these challenges, which then go, well, I can't trust the world. They seem to indicate that you can't trust the world, and you can't trust other people. You have an experience with these garage owners, like, well, okay, the ego says, well, you can't trust them clearly. So how can you trust? How can you trust anything? But that's that's of course what the ego wants to tempt you into. So we have to transcend that and realize that it's all part of the evolution of trust, the development of trust. Trust, the truth is always there, but it's our willingness to accept it and to trust it that's the problem. So hence we have to go through a process of developing that trust, and that's also the process of letting go of everything that causes us to doubt and fear. All right, so number one then, first stage. Okay, so trust. Yeah, you've got just a precursor. He's talking about trust. This is the foundation.
Right. This is the foundation on which their ability to fulfill their function rests. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning because cause and effect are never separated. The teachers of a perfect love have trust in the world because they have learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. It is through this power that the teachers of perfect love look on a world released.
Okay. So what's he saying in that?
It's about the perception of the learning. I mean, perception is learning because cause and effect are never separate. So the teachers of perfect love have trust in the world because they have learned not to be governed by the laws of the world that have been made up. It's being governed by the power that's in them, but not of them. And it's this power that keeps all things safe. But this is when the world is released. It's through this power that the teachers of perfect love look on a world released, or perceive a world released. So there's just this perception thing again, isn't it? That Hofmeister was talking about. It's a perception problem, he keeps saying. Perception problem is the
whole course is designed to change your perception. He can't bring you revelation straight away, but he can help you change your perception and prepare for the coming of revelation in time. So this is we've trusted in the world because they've learned it is not governed by the laws the world made up. Right? So you go, there's another power that is completely transcendent and is miraculous, and which knows no limits. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. So anything can happen. The apparent laws of the world that deny that power are false. There is a deeper power, a higher truth that is always there, that the teachers of God have learned to trust fully, and accept fully that that power is always there. So look at someone like Yeshua, who did all those amazing miracles. He had complete trust, right? There was complete faith and trust in this power to do that. There was no doubt in his mind. And because of that, the miracles happened. You have one seed of doubt, it doesn't happen because you doubt it. How can the power work if you doubt it? So our job is to accept it in the face of apparent contradictions to it. The entire world is a contradiction to that power. It says, well, that power doesn't exist. Remember, the world was made as a denial, out of the denial of love. So the world is the manifestation of that denial. And so it seems to confirm that this power isn't there, that there really is nothing else other than this very dark, limited, egoic thought system. But it is there. It's just we've got to dig deep for it. We've got to find it in our own minds, and then we've got to change our perception so that we allow that to come in, and we start. Then we'll see it in our experience. Then we start seeing miracles showing up. We start seeing evidence of this power when we start allowing it and believing in it. We must believe first. Yeshua said to one of his disciples, I think it was doubting Thomas, who doubted, and he said, well, can I touch you? Can I feel your, can I feel you? He said, yeah, but blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. So they don't have evidence with their physical eyes, but they believe anyway.
Yeah.
Because that then activates this power, miraculous power to come in. All right. So move on to number 2 then. Once I've experienced this power,
once I have experienced this power, it's impossible to trust in my own insignificant strength again. Why would I choose to fly with tiny wings of a sparrow when I have been given the mighty power of an eagle? Why would I place my faith in the meager offerings of the belief in separation when the gifts of perfect love lay before me? What will convince me to make this shift?
Yeah. So what's he saying in that one?
Well, it's a very powerful message.
I love that number 2. Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle is given him? That's quite a welcome surprise, of course. Yeah, who would? I mean, okay, so you've got this, awesome power, and you're trying to fly solo on your own, little strength. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Like you've got a jet with a jet engine that can go really fast, and you want to go up a little biplane and try and fly the journey with that. That doesn't make sense. So then he's saying, well, what will convince us to make the shift from placing faith in the meager offerings of the ego to placing faith in this power of perfect love that is within me? Gifts of perfect love lie instead of before me. I think let's say within me. I think that's really nice. So it points us within, which is where they really lie. The true gifts are not outside; they're within.
And what will convince? Yeah, that's a good one. What will convince me to make the shift? Yet all of us do anything to be the mighty, powerful eagle. Got these little wings. Yeah, it's odd, really.
Will you let go of the identification with the tiny sparrow? Because you believe, the problem is you believe you are that, and so therefore you limit your own power. The sparrow has to die for the eagle to soar. That's the message.
Yeah. So it's letting go of that little separate self.
Yeah.
And all its little problems.
Yeah. It's problems and it's trying to manage. I mean, it's very pertinent for you because it's exactly what you've experienced with this challenge.
Yeah.
You try and fly it solo with the tiny wings of a sparrow, and you struggle, and it doesn't seem to work, and you get frustrated, and saying, well, you've got to go deeper. You've got to let go and find this higher power that's there, and allow that to come into the situation and to work it out, to find the solution through you. It's not you solving it. It's just going to guide you to solve it. So it's a stepping back. It's a surrendering of your own power. And there's many lessons in the course that talk about this. I will step back and let him lead the way. I think it's lesson 155, and there's others. You say, well, you know, let it go, and you're not in charge. In my defenselessness lies my perfect safety, and that's a lesson in which he emphasized that, you know, don't plan, don't make all of your own plans, because that's another defense against the truth. Just trust. You know, if plans need to be made, you're told. You'll be guided.
Yeah.
As and when you need to make them. So, you know, it all
There's
happens
a lot of course
perfectly.
students, yeah, like you were saying, the course students in South Africa, they had said to you, oh, well, I'll just as it comes. That is,
Yeah, they're actually in Spain. They're not South African, but they're going to South Africa. So they're like, well, okay, you know, so let's see. So yeah, well, let's see. Maybe I'll just go to Cape Town and I'll meet them and just see.
right. So that
Go, you know,
is that an
go with it.
example? Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
example.
it's like, well, you can't, you know, you can't make too many plans. But then when a plan is needed, then you make one. Okay, well, if, you know, if I'm going and I need to book a flight, then I will. I have a conversation with John about next year, about the Camino next week. So it's like, okay, well, that just spontaneously arose last night. You see what I mean? So it's like, okay, you know, I've just parked it
Just
because I
let
need
it
to do
come
this. It's
from
like,
the source.
it'll
Yeah.
come when it's right, you know, at the right time.
Yeah.
And not before, not afterwards. So it's kind of a just-in-time philosophy. It's like, well, when it needs to happen, it'll happen, and I'll be guided. And you got to trust that. You know, all things have their time and their season. All right. So speaking of that, there's 6 stages in this development of trust, which is really his version of the hero's journey. So bear in mind, you know, the hero's journey, which I'll just show you briefly so you can kind of reference that. So there's the diagram showing the hero's journey. So you have the, you know, the starting point, the call to adventure, meeting the mentor, the various trials, tribulations, failure, then through the death and the rebirth, then the period of at-one-ment and the return to the world to now, you know, be an awakened soul in the world and really help people. So that's the hero's journey conception. See, you know, what the similarities and the differences are of this development of trust. All right, so we read that in the alternative.
Initially, I must undergo what seems like a period of undoing. This need not be painful, but it often feels that way. It appears that things are being taken away from me, and I seldom understand at first that I am merely recognizing their lack of value. How can I perceive lack of value unless I perceive things from a different perspective? I am not at point where I can make the shift entirely internally. So the plan sometimes calls for changes in what seems to be external circumstances. These changes are always beneficial. Once I have learned this much, I will move on to the second stage.
Okay, so what's he saying in this one?
Well, once we're off on our journey to the undoing, it doesn't have to be painful, but it often is. And it often appears that things are getting taken away from us, when really this is to our benefit if they're being taken away from us.
So often that's the case. And think of your own journey. You lost something happened, and you went initially, oh, this is terrible, and then actually you saw that was necessary to move you on. You know, it was actually a benefit to it. I mean, I've had a number of those experiences. And when I was in my late 20s, you know, I'd had this whole plan to be a champion squash player, world champion squash player. And I realized, okay, it wasn't going to happen. So it was like, okay, like that's all lost. You know, what I've worked for 15 years since I was a teenager is for nothing. It came to nothing. I didn't achieve it. I had some interesting experiences along the way, but you know, the goal wasn't achieved. I didn't even come close. But that was really the catalyst for a spiritual awakening. So the plan called for that to happen. These changes are always beneficial. And once I've learned this much, I'll move on to the next stage. And I did. It took me a while to kind of accept it, but I was like, okay, actually life isn't over. I'm only 29. And actually I'm feeling more peaceful than I ever have. So that's strange. So what's going on? And that then opened me up to really exploring the whole spiritual world, which I hadn't really done before. That was all, mind, what I want to achieve, make it happen, goal setting, etc., etc. I hadn't gone into, these spiritual teachings. It was an unknown world to me. So that experience and being able to let it go, really, did move me on to the next stage. Okay, happy to move on to number 2, second stage.
Yeah. I must then experience a period of sorting out. This is somewhat challenging because, having learned that changes in my life are helpful, I must now judge everything based on whether it increases or hinders this helpfulness. I will discover that many things I previously valued now obstruct my ability to apply what I've learned to new situations. Because I have valued the worthless, I'm hesitant to generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. It takes deep learning to understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are beneficial. It is only their helpfulness that gives them any degree of reality in this illusory world. The term value does not apply to anything else. The term value doesn't apply to anything else.
Yeah.
The term value.
Not sure about that. The word value. The word value. The original is the word value can apply to nothing else. It cannot apply to anything else. So if something has value, it's only because it's helpful in my journey, in my awakening.
Yeah.
Nothing else is valuable in this world. So, there are many things the world values, but most of them are valueless and worthless because they don't actually serve your awakening.
Yeah.
It's helping you to wake up and free yourself from the dream and go home, then yeah, that's valuable in this world. And it takes deep learning, saying it takes a lot of learning to understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful.
Yeah. So we
even when it's all going pear-shaped and sits up, as I say, it's helpful. Okay, and that takes a lot of all right, I have to remember the principles, because the initial reaction is, oh my god, this is a disaster. Why is this happening again? Oh, why me? And then you go into the victim identity.
The pity me one. Yes. Yeah,
pity me, and then you might get angry and you lash out at someone else and you say, well, it's your fault. It's all pear-shaped because of you. These are all egoic reactions. Actually, it's helpful. I just maybe can't see that right now, but these principles are there to remind you, well, okay, even if you can't see how it's helpful, if you can accept the principle that it is, then you're opening the way for that helpfulness to reveal itself more quickly, to work through your negative emotion, whatever that is, disappointment, anger, frustration, fear. You work through all of that and then allow the helpfulness to reveal itself. I'm very, very grateful that I failed. In hindsight, if I look at how my life's unfolded, yeah, I'm actually very glad that I didn't become world champion. In hindsight, but at the time it was hard.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, actually, my whole life kind of I failed, and But actually, that wasn't the purpose of my life. I realized that was just, that was just part of the learning. The real purpose was awakening and to become a teacher of God, a teacher of perfect love. But you don't understand that when you're going through it, do you?
No, not at all.
These principles, by reading this, you can understand that and go, okay, well, that's helpful.
Making sense, yeah.
It makes sense. Okay. Yeah, when the chips are down and I'm struggling, okay, read this again. Remind yourself. Yeah, he's saying that, there's this process that you've got to, the primary thing you've got to accept is that this is actually happening for me. As I said to you the other day, with this situation, it's happening for me, for my awakening. It's helpful to my awakening. So I'm not going to resist it. I'm going to embrace it and accept that this is a lesson for me. And whatever it brings up is what I've got to work through and let go of. Okay, that's why it's helpful. See, because it helps me to free my mind from the ego. And it's the only way I can do it. It's only when those dark thoughts and emotions come up that I can become aware of them and then say, okay, I've got to let this go. This is not what I want to think. This is not what I want to believe. I don't want to believe in this thought system. So, okay, I choose to let it go. But it's got to be triggered and arise for you to make that decision, hasn't it? So that's what the world does. It triggers it. So the ego arises strongly, and then you get the chance to face it and let it go. And that process is absolutely essential to the undoing. How else do you do it? It's stuck in your subconscious. You don't even know what you believe most of the time because it's all subconscious. It's only when those beliefs get triggered and then they arise and then you experience the thoughts and the emotions that okay, yeah, clearly I'm still attached. There's still fear, anger, whatever is arising because I'm experiencing it. So it's obvious I'm not free yet because these thoughts and emotions are still very much present in my awareness. Okay, but that's good because at least they're coming up and it's showing me the blocks that I need to let go of very clearly. So that's why everything is helpful because it brings up your own stuff and then you get the opportunity to let it go. And if you don't do that, it remains buried in your subconscious and you don't let it go.
Comes up again.
You die with the subconscious still very much in place because you've never done any of this kind of work. And then guess what? It brings you back. Because the subconscious mind is what causes us, 90% of our reality here. And it's what causes us to reincarnate. It's not a conscious decision. It's a subconscious. Okay, what do I deeply believe? Well, that deep belief in a separate self will cause you to come back into a body to experience the seeming reality of a separate self again and again and again. You see? So it has to be undone at that deep level. So the first two stages are really about letting go and accepting it, saying, okay, I accept that actually this is helpful to me. Third stage is similar, but just a little bit of an advancement on the first two. So I'm going to read that. The next stage.
Yeah, the next stage I face is a period of relinquishment. If I misinterpret this as giving up what is desirable, I will face great conflict. Few teachers of perfect love are completely spared this distress. However, there is no sense in distinguishing the valuable from the valueless if I don't take the next logical step. Therefore, this period of overlap is often when I feel compelled to sacrifice my best interests for truth. I haven't yet realized how utterly impossible such a demand is. I can only learn this by actually letting go of my belief in the valueless. Through this, I learned that where I expected sorrow, I find a joyful lightheartedness, and where I thought I was being asked to sacrifice, I receive a gift.
Okay, so what's he saying in that one?
At this third stage, it's a period of relinquishment. So if we misinterpret this as giving up what is desirable, we're going to get great conflict. And of course, there's but few people of the teachers of perfect love are spared this distress.
Because
Yeah.
this is where it gets quite tough, because the negative stuff is not that hard to see. Okay, look, I don't really want that. Okay, so I'll let that go. But now you've got to let go of what you think is desirable as well in this world. Oh, but what about, I mean, in your case, the kittens, those are lovely, or the sunsets, or, the things that you value in this world. What about those?
Yeah.
And so, it's normal to experience some distress in the giving up. It's like, well, everything's been taken away from me. So what do I have left? And the ego says, well, you'll have nothing left. This is a very bad idea. This is going to destroy you. So just cling on, hold on to, something in this world, whatever that may be. And so, it's often hard to completely let go and say, okay, I'm letting it all go. Because we all have, one or two things we go, oh, no, but, I'll make an exception there. I'll hold on there.
Yes.
Whether it's a pet, a special relationship with a pet or a human being, or it's those are big ones. Or maybe it's it's an attachment to money. Maybe it's an addiction of sorts. Or it's Dave, something.
Or football with Dave.
Football and a car. Those are.
The car. God, yes.
Yeah. So you'd have to let that go and say that's actually meaningless to me. It's valueless. I don't have any emotional attachment to it anymore. Well, that's a major letting go of his self-concept has to happen for that to happen, you see.
Yeah.
He says there's no sense in distinguishing the valuable from the valueless if I don't take the next logical step. Yeah, okay. Theoretically, I can see all this. I can study this course and go, okay, well, false idols, and yeah, I know this all, and you can understand conceptually, but unless you've let go of your own false idols, it's of no use. You haven't done it.
Yeah.
So it's like what he's saying is you got to walk the talk here. All very well I'm teaching you this stuff, but you actually have to let go of your own stuff, and be willing to move on. I remember I mentioned that situation I had with the money that I was owed, and the lawyer,
yes.
fiddling me. And I was like, yeah, I just cannot continue teaching this stuff. If I can't do this myself, there's no way I can teach this stuff. That was what I said to myself, because it's like, you've got to walk the talk. There's clearly a lesson in letting go here, and you can fudge it and try and, the ego will try and find a way to justify it, but there's no justification. I have to let this go, or, forget it. I'm like, I can't, with any authenticity teach this path. And so, it's like, okay, well, I got to just, I got to let it go. There was an attachment. I was like, Yeah,
but it's still the practical level. You were still able to contact the ombudsman or whoever it was.
I just let it go.
You let it go. I thought there was an ombudsman you could actually contact. But sorry.
No, not really. The spirit just said, well, just leave it to me. The guys who I was with, they got a lawyer involved later. I didn't really drive that, and then nothing really happened. I mean, the lawyer wanted fees. I was like, I'm not really, I can just see it'll be more expensive. And then the guy died. The chap died 2 months later. So like, so now we're going to go after his estate, and there might be nothing left. It's just like, no, it's just the spirit knew. It's like it was telling me. It knew exactly what would happen. It said, you got to let this go, so otherwise you'll get nothing. And then that would have probably sabotaged this entire course, because without that money, I couldn't have continued for another year or so. You see, so it was like I absolutely had to listen to the guidance, because otherwise I would have been in deep trouble. Then that would have been a lesson itself, wouldn't it? So that would have been like, okay, well, you didn't let go, and now you're really up against it, because you didn't get that money and you've lost it all. And now what? I needed that at that point. So that's why the guidance, like, you got to listen. The spirit tells you, and it was a very clear, like, you got to let this go, and go to the retreat, the Vipassana retreat, and that was all, perfect. I needed to do both. I needed to let go of the money, go to the Vipassana retreat. That then gave me the mystic experience. And the week after I finished it, we started the Arts of Letting Go course, on which Sue and John were. And, they then referred a number of people, including Sally. And so it grew, it kind of, it grew substantially from there into, what we have a little community now. And that was all because I listened to guidance. So, and I was willing to let go of my own, but
I know that feeling.
It's like, screw me, and I want to fight, and I don't want to be a doormat. There's all of that going on, but I was like, no, I've got to, this teaching overrode it. It was like, I have to let this go. I know, the Holy Spirit saying,
that is not easy.
No, it wasn't easy, but it's like, okay,
got to do it,
practice. And I did feel a relief. It's like, okay, because all of that, that energy of fighting, and it's horrible.
Yes,
horrible. And then I wouldn't have been able to go on the retreat because I would have been embroiled in legal action. And I was like, do I want that?
No.
Oh, reality, no. You know what? It's just lay down your pride. Part of me, it's like you don't want to be beaten. It's like, this lawyer's got the better of me, but that's just ego. It was just like, well, actually, he didn't, because in the end he died, and the money was of no use to him whatsoever, and he probably died because of his guilt. I went, isn't that interesting? You just screwed a whole bunch of people, and then 2 months later you die.
I know. To get that karma.
Okay. There's a connection. Karma, exactly. You treat other people like that, there is going to be a guilt in the mind, and then guilt. What does guilt require? Punishment. So it was self-punishment. Well, now you're condemned to death, and you're going to die. Apparently, it was COVID that took him out, but it was really his guilt. Because other people don't die from COVID. Most don't. So why did he? And he seemed to be, I'd met him a couple of years before. He seemed to be, he's middle age, seemingly quite healthy. Like, why would it just take him out? Well, because spiritually he was misaligned. It was like what he was doing was not correct. And deep down he knew that. And so there was a guilt, and then the punishment, self-punishment. But his ego was too strong to see that at the time, to go, okay, well, I'll just accept, because he wanted to win. I'd said, but this is crazy. You can't take our money to pay expenses for the company. Those are for the company's accounts, and you pay that out of your own share of the money. The company gets a share. Well, you pay your expenses out of that. That's logical and fair. You can't expect us to pay the company's expenses, liquidation expenses. I mean, it's unreasonable. But he was like, no, well, I'm in charge. I've got the money. So and then interestingly, I got 140,000 back. Exactly the same amount. Exactly the same amount, completely unexpected, earlier this year.
Okay.
It was like, okay. It was so interesting because it was exactly the same amount. It was like, wow. Okay, so that's the law of divine compensation working, saying, well, look.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, the stuff really does work. It's not always easy at the time, but you really just have to go, okay, I've got to follow the principles. I've got to let it go, and I've got to walk the talk. And then, you let miracles happen. And we wouldn't be talking now if all of that hadn't happened, probably. Because that kick-started John, and then John referred Sally, and Sally referred Jackie, and Jackie referred you, and here we are. And so that's all unfolded because of that willingness to let go. So that's how the miracles work. It kicks off a whole chain of miraculous occurrences that are designed for everyone's awakening. If you let go. If you don't, well, that's an opportunity missed. It's going to take another course, and you'll have further opportunities down the line. I would have had some major letting go, because 2 months later we've gone, I'm not going to get any of this money, and I would have absolutely kicked myself at being so stupid and not listening. And then maybe I wouldn't have run the course, and who knows? Like, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. The whole reality could have taken a very different turn if I'd made a different decision. So you get these junctures in the road, where you have to make very important decisions, and that's when you really need to be on point and listen to the Holy Spirit, because that decision is a critical decision. It's going to take you in one direction or another. you come to a fork in the road and you can't take both. All right, so let's crack on with this. We've got 3 more paragraphs to go in a summary. So the 4th stage is a period of settling down.
Yeah. Then comes a period of settling down. This is a calm period where I rest in relative peace. Now I consolidate what I have learned. I begin to recognize the immense transfer value of my lessons. The potential is overwhelming, and I now see it as my entire escape route. Relinquish what you do not want and retain what you do. How simple and obvious this is, and how straightforward it is to practice. I need this time of calm. I haven't progressed as far as I might believe, yet when I'm prepared to proceed, I do so with might companions. With might companions?
Mighty companions.
Oh, mighty, yeah.
Sorry, it's
Mighty.
a single.
Mighty companions. I pause here and gather them before continuing my journey home. I will not go on from this point alone. It sounds like a nice period.
Yeah, so you're saying like the first 3 are difficult, and then you'll get a bit of a break, basically. A period of reasonable, where I rest in relative peace. Only reason it's like, okay, it's not full peace yet, and you kind of think you've come further. So that could be like I've got there. Someone might say, oh, well, if the ego gets hold of this, I'm there, I'm enlightened. And so actually, no, you're just at stage 4, a period of relative peace, some calm. It's kind of calm before the next big push and the next trial to come.
Yeah.
And you're saying I go on with mighty companions. So you could interpret that in a couple of ways. You could say, well, those are my, mighty spiritual companions on this earth. People who are on the same path in a community or course group or an online community like this are your mighty companions. But you could also go, well, there's other companions. There's non-physical entities that will help you, and these are called guides or angels, or that are really just the Holy Spirit working through you. Some people perceive it as, oh, well, that's some master or some guide, or but it's that's just how their mind then can accept it. It's really the Holy Spirit just taking a form that is helpful for that person.
Yeah.
Which might be in the form of an angel or a past, enlightened master, one of the mystics or saints or teachers of the past, who they take as a guide, and they say, okay, well, this then becomes the form which my mind can accept, through which the guidance can come of the Holy Spirit. This doesn't really talk much about that, because he's just asking us to have a direct connection with our true self, or the Christ and the Holy Spirit, which then is the Christ in action, Christ's perception and Christ's vision, just enacted in this world. So both of those, are possible depending on how you want to interpret it. He doesn't clarify it, so it's open to interpretation. I think both could be taken as meant and correct. All right. So anything else on number 4?
Yeah.
Period of settling down. So the next stage is indeed a period of unsettling. So we just had a period of peace, and now we go back into being unsettled.
Yeah. So the next stage in my journey is a period of unsettling. Now I must grasp that I didn't really know what was valuable or valueless. All I've understood so far is that I don't want the valueless, and I do want the valuable. But my own evaluation was meaningless. in teaching me the difference. The concept of sacrifice, so integral to my thought system, has clouded my judgment. I believed I was learning willingness, but now I see that I am unclear about what I should be willing for. Now I must strive for a state that may seem unreachable for a long time. I must learn to suspend all judgment and ask only what I truly desire in every circumstance, without significant support in taking each step in this direction. This would be extremely difficult.
Great. So what's he saying in this one?
Well, this is a difficult period. This is an unsettling stage. And I have to now understand what's really valuable and what is valueless. So far I've understood that I do not want the valueless, but I do want the valuable. But of course, my separate self's evaluation of it was meaningless. So we now must strive for a state that may seem unreachable for a long time. So I must learn to suspend judgment. And the big thing here is that in this stage, we do need support to take each step. Otherwise, it could be very difficult.
So these are the mighty companions. He's saying, the help is there, support is there, guidance is there, and you can go to that. So whether that's in the form of people, teachers, people on the same path in a community like this, that's common. Or it's going to a guide, an angel, some form of the Holy Spirit within. And in truth, it's actually both, because the Holy Spirit is working through people in this world as well. So that it's the Holy Spirit behind all of it, but it will take a form that is most helpful for you to understand and learn from. And you need to be open to that support. So actually, there's a lot of support, a lot of guidance, and it can come in many ways. I could just read a random email or a post on social media, or I could be watching a TV program or listening to the radio or see a billboard, or it comes in many forms.
Actually, that was interesting. Do you remember, I think I mentioned a client that I'd done a treatment for, and she didn't pay me, an American lady.
Yes, you did.
Yes. Well, funny enough, when I went in to do my massage this morning, there was a little letter from America, and I haven't even opened it. But that brought a bit of a shift. I thought, oh, interesting. I wonder if it's that lady from America. So it's strange how these little things turn up, isn't it?
Yeah.
All these, that's what you call the witnesses, I guess.
Yeah. And our job is to remain open to them, even in the face of difficulties. The world is not all roses. We know that.
No.
You do get tests and challenges, but remain open to the miracles despite that, and remain open to okay, but there are challenges, but there's always support. Whatever tests I'm given, I'm also given the support and the resources and the strength to get through it.
Yeah, because
so it's okay. I'm being tested, and that's what I need. I need to be tested to awaken. That's kind of the whole point. It's not just going to be plain thing.
That was an easy thing to let go of, though. I can remember thinking, some people in my old self, I would be complaining and, sending a note of disapproval and so forth.
Yeah.
But I did let that go. So that's interesting. So it's come back as a...
Yeah. Maybe she's sent you a check. You don't know.
You never know. I haven't actually opened it.
Yeah.
So all this garage carry on, but so they're all these little things do come if you do actually let go. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Yes.
And you see that the more you let go, the more you're opening your mind to the support.
Yeah.
It's almost like, spirit wants to help you, but we're so stubbornly persistent in our negativity that we just keep blocking it up. It's like, well, look, I'm trying, but you're not really very open and willing.
You've got to
So,
truly let it go. Yes. Truly let
yeah.
whereas with the
Well, at
garage.
least be willing. The start is just, okay, I'm willing to see it differently.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
willing to change my own perspective. I can't expect, the heavens to open and suddenly, like, it's like I've got to make the first move. I've got to
got
change
to
myself.
truly let it go. Yes, I know what you mean.
Be willing to consider that, maybe there's something within me that needs to change. Maybe I've got to let go of, my attachments, my own beliefs. And then I open, then I'm saying, okay, I'm willing, I've taken the first step, and then the support comes. So the spirit says, okay, great, you're willing. And it wants to show you that this is a step in the right direction. So then it brings something in that gives us the support and encouragement. We go, oh, okay, that worked. And so then it's reinforced. Yeah, okay. We've got to learn. Yes, if I let go equals good, that works. And if I hold on and I don't let go, that doesn't work. And I've got to learn that experientially to be able to really
But I know what
operate.
you're saying. You have to truly let go. Truly let go. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. Where you've just got to. Whereas at the moment, it's still a bit sticky with the garage. I'm willing to, but it's still a bit sticky.
All there, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
process. I mean, it's fully letting go is not easy, but that's the work. You just keep working at it. So okay, so you do another letting go exercise. You use the lessons. You do the meditations in the morning that I give you. That 10-step letting go process.
Oh yeah.
You do it every day because it's just okay. It's another opportunity. Just keep working with the situation until you really feel that there's a shift and you've released it.
I think it's yeah. I mean, I'm more than happy to let it go, but it's just I have a husband that is really very but that's the bit I need to let go of.
Yeah, you need to let go of then your attachment to his reaction. You see, because it's your perception of him, of the whole situation that's the problem. That includes him.
Yes.
So with you, it's not so much the car, but it's then him. Okay, but then let go of that. That's what I mean by complete letting go. When he says full transfer, that's what he means. There's full transfer of thought system, and you're really applying it, without exception.
It's easy enough to do it for yourself, but when you've got somebody who you're with 24/7 who's angry, full of condemnation, that's more difficult.
But he's the projection of your own ego. He is showing you what is still unhealed in your own mind. That's the point.
Yeah, and it's very difficult.
Thoughts and emotions are still within you. So then, this is to let them go.
Much harder that one now.
Yeah, because you're facing your own demons, and they're represented by Dave and his behavior. So it's advanced mind training, but that's what will get you out. It's there to your benefit because this is what will heal your mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm willing. I'm willing.
Achievement. We'll just keep being willing. You're still in a process of relinquishment, so maybe stage 3. Okay, you've got to let it all go.
Yeah.
To come to the period of settling down, and then there's the unsettling, which is like the final stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We read number 5, the period of unsettling.
Yes. Just read it.
I must learn to suspend all judgment and ask only for what I truly desire in every circumstance, what I truly want in every circumstance, which is peace. The only thing I really want is peace.
That's it.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, what's what I really want? Okay, well, let me do what will bring me peace, which is to let go. That's what will bring me peace. Holding on doesn't bring you peace.
No.
It just keeps all the mental, emotional turbulation going. So this is a big step. It's like, okay, in every circumstance, I want peace, and I'm willing to let go in order to do it. Okay, period. That's end of, no exceptions. That's what I do. That's how I live my life. And then you're prepared, with that kind of very determined mindset, and not making exceptions. Then you're prepared for the next stage, which is finally a period of achievement. which is where you essentially attain an enlightened state, and you're able to work in the world, be in the world but not of the world, maintain your peace no matter what. Then you'd be at the level of a Yeshua, Buddha, one of the enlightened masters. They attained this state, but they had to go through their own journey of development of trust. They didn't just get there. It was at the last stage of their spiritual development. Okay, so number 6. Finally, there is a period of achievement.
And finally, there is a period of achievement. Here, my learning becomes solidified. Now, what once seemed like mere shadows become substantial gains, reliable in both crises and tranquil moments. Indeed, tranquility is the fruit of sincere learning. Consistent thinking and complete acceptance of this new thought system I'm learning. This is the stage of true peace, for here the state of pure formless awareness is fully reflected. The path to pure formless awareness is now open and effortless. In fact, it is present here and now. Why would I want to go anywhere when I am already experiencing complete peace of mind? And would I try to exchange this tranquility for something else? What can be more desirable than this peace? Sounds, yeah, that's what would be wonderful.
That's as a human, that's the best state you can possibly be in. That's the top of the pyramid, the final state.
So how many people as it stands on planet Earth are in that stage?
Who knows? I mean, but not that many. And this is we're talking mastery status. Yeshua, Buddha. So there will be. Often they don't participate very much in society because they're just peaceful, just blissing out. It's going, well, I'm just there's nothing to do. They become what's called frequency holders. They just sit and be because I've already attained deep peace. There's nothing more I desire. I'm quite happy to just remain in peace.
Is that Ramana Maharishi? I can never say his name.
Maharshi, Ramana Maharshi,
yes. He was like that.
Just most of his life spent in samadhi, in this deep state of peace, connected to his source, and he just was a frequency holder. He just held that peace and brought people into it. So what developed around him was people saying, well, there's something of genuine value here, and let's create a structure, an ashram, and so that this can people can come and they can see this amazing teacher, and they can be healed through the peace that he brings them. But he just really sat. He said, I have nothing to teach you except silence. Just say, sit with me in silence. And people would sit with him in silence for half an hour in meditation. They'd be just profoundly transformed because of the peace that he brought them into. So that is ultimately what we all want. It's a state of mind we all deeply yearn for. And he's saying, well, it is attainable, but okay, there's 5 stages to go before then. It's not just going to happen. You've got to develop your trust and let go of the ego, and that's a process. So I think it's very helpful. He's given us his take on the hero's journey, which is quite similar. I mean, you can kind of see how it dovetails. These trials and failure are really the first 3 stages of letting go. There's often a call, and the call to adventure can come in the form of, stage 1. Okay, something disaster happens, and you've got to really, let it go, and somehow move on. So that can often be how it happens. The tests on, being able to let go and fully awaken to the truth. And then there would be the at-one-ment would be the final stage. This sort of says, well, then you return back, and you might actually sort of do something in the world. You might be inspired to teach. This just leaves us at peace, which would then be your state. And it's interesting, you know, because Sally went through a lot of this, and I think at the end, she had achieved a deep peace. There was this genuinely,
you could tell, yes.
and she was like, "Well, I'm not really feeling the call to do very much. I'll run some of my own retreats and stuff, but I'm not really inspired to go out and build a community and do kind of stuff I'm doing, because she's just in deep peace, and she's able to spend hours in that state."
Yeah, I remember.
Like, and in some ways, I would love to, but I'm not in a position where I can. So I just sort of, I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, we're all in our process somewhere in this process.
Well, yours is teaching, whereas Sally's is more just meditating and
Well, she's teaching as well, but it's a different kind of teaching. I think this process, I think she wants to focus more just on people who are really ready for awakening, and okay, we'll just sit in very unstructured sessions and just maybe share a bit, go into silence, and there's a place for that.
Of course.
But I think the course is designed to help people to break down their ego, and you need to go through a process. What about all the first stages? Most people are at stage 1 to 3. So there needs to be a system and a process for the majority who are in those stages, and that's what the Art of Letting Go course does. It reaches to people where they are and says, okay, there's going to be very few people who at stage 6, even stage 5. So, let's work with you where you are and move you through the stages. So yes, ultimately, if you follow this process, you can get to an experience of deep peace. That's attainable, but you're going to have to do some work. It doesn't just happen.
No.
Whereas Sally's like, well, I just want to kind of bliss out with people who are already there. Okay, well, you will find some, but the majority are not.
No.
And that's not why the course exists, and it's not why the Art of Letting Go course was developed. I developed it to help people, at wherever they are, at a stage where they might be really struggling with stuff, and they haven't let go. Well, okay, that's what it's designed for. Not for those who awaken. Those who awaken don't really need this process. If you at the period of achievement, you don't really need it, do you? Which is, of course, why Sally left. You don't really need it anymore. It's designed for those who do need it.
Yes. Well, I definitely need it. That's for sure.
No, which is why you're here. If you didn't need it, you would have gone, okay, I don't need it. I'll move on.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And it's a process. But for many of us, it's going to be years and years of this kind of work and studying. Because to really get to a state of deep peace is, it's a high level of mind training.
Advancement, yeah. Well, I'm just grateful to be on the journey, to be honest with you. So I'm just open to the stages. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so just to wrap it up, if you want to just read this, the executive summary. I've got about 5 minutes, so just read it in one go, and we'll close the session there.
As a teacher of perfect love, I recognize that my outward characteristics are diverse and individual, yet I share an inner purpose with all teachers of perfect love, which is to foster the plan of at-one-ment. My special gifts are a means to transcend the illusion of time, and as I advance in my understanding, these gifts become mine. Trust is the cornerstone upon which my role as teacher is built. My perception of the world has evolved through learning that is not bound by its self-imposed laws, but rather by a power that dwells within me. This realization instills in me a trust that helps me not to rely on my own limited strength. I will go through 6 key stages on my spiritual journey. Initially, I experience a time of undoing, recognizing the worthlessness of what I previously valued, often accompanied by changes in my external circumstances. Following this is a period of sorting out, in which I learn to discern what truly supports my growth. This can be challenging as it involves letting go of my old values and beliefs. Then comes a period of relinquishment, which can be painful if I misunderstood it as loss. It is in fact a release from the valueless, leading to unexpected joy in gifts. After this, I enter a settling down phase where I consolidate my learning and prepare for further steps with the support of mighty companions. Next, I face an unsettling time as I realize the inadequacy of my previous judgments and the need to let go of them completely. This requires me to earnestly discern my true desires in every situation. A step made easier with the support I will receive from the remembrance of perfect love in me and my mighty companions. Oh. Yeah. Finally, I reach the stage of achievement where my learning solidifies into consistent gains that can be depended on at all times. In this stage, I experience a deep peace as I am in the state of pure formless awareness much of the time, and I'll know there is nothing more desirable than this tranquility.
Yeah, and as I said, that I've actually seen that happening. This process does lead to that. Sally was largely, the last couple of months of doing this process, she was experiencing this. She was saying, "Well, I just bliss out for hours." I'm like, "Wow,
Wow, yeah,
great! I wish I could do this." But
at least if you know,
it's a living demonstration of like, yeah, actually this is possible, and you can work through these stages. She did work through a number of those stages in a year and a bit, and then came to this period of achievement. She was like, well, I don't need it anymore because I'm there. Like, yeah, well, fair enough. Like, what could I say? It's like, in fact, I've done my job. I've helped you to get there. That's
a marvelous job.
Yeah, so I've done the job so well that you leave the community because you don't need it anymore. So okay, well,
marvelous.
It's
Real
a success. All right. So then, just the last key message to wrap it up.
As a teacher of perfect love, I must journey through several stages to develop my trust in my true self and its source, starting with letting go of old beliefs that can be difficult, but learning to trust a higher power, within more and more, so that ultimately I experience profound inner peace and realize that I want nothing else.
Yeah, I think that's a nice kind of, okay, you're going to go through various stages. It might be difficult, but in the end, you'll experience this deep, profound inner peace, and find happiness and peace in this world, which is quite an accomplishment given the insane nature of it.
Absolutely, So,
and if you're in that state, well, why would you choose to go anywhere else? Why would you desire anything else? And why would you choose to come back? Why would you come back to insanity when you've transcended it and you've realized that there's something beyond it? Well, you wouldn't. No one in their right mind would come back here. So then you've attained the goal of ultimately freeing yourself from the cycle of birth and death, and remaining as you are, with your source as one in eternity forever. But while you're here, that looks like just a very peaceful, happy experience of the world, where nothing really bothers you.
Yes, that's what we
keep working. Keep practicing, and keep letting go. What's going to advance you on it is the letting go practice of continuously letting go. That's what takes you from stage to stage.
Just keep going.
All right. Thanks, Elaine. So should we leave it there? Thanks for joining. Good session, and I'll see you on Sunday evening.
Yeah, that's great. Thank
start.
you.
I'll let you know. Probably 7, but if I can start it early, I'll let you know on the text message and email for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. You too. Thanks,
Bye.
Louise.
Namaste.
All right. Namaste. Bye for now. So, thank you to everyone. That's a wrap. Okay. Yeah. Good session, and yeah, looking forward to catching on the inside. Do join us for our next masterclass, which is happening soon. We're happening in January. There's a link below to register for that, and you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that, and also sign up to receive some Telegram messages from me every day with some of the material I shared today. So thank you for joining, and namaste.